Well, glory be and mercy me, we've done it yet again. It's been a minute since I've done a walk around the graveyard video, and today I am here with my lovely little pug Milo, right? So if things go off the rails a little bit, you know why. Today, I've been taking a hiatus from doing these because honestly, I've been overwhelmed. I've been doing the live stream, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please come on in. And been focusing on making money in this capitalist system as I have been watching it degrade. And the degradation of the system has become obvious and apparent, even to the most deluded, even to the people who are most detached and most committed to the idea that capitalism should persist and stay around. Well, even they are starting to say, oh, well, obviously things are going wrong. You've got millions of people on the streets in Spain, in France, in Britain. They're not in the streets because capitalism is working. They're not fomenting protest and revolution because the system is working, and it's become obvious. And the thing I think I would like to attempt to create more clarity about is the ethos, is the ideology of the capitalist death cult, so that we can more clearly define and discuss what it is that is happening to us and how it is that we need to move forward. I have come to see that there are three pillars, what I have come to call an unholy trinity of the capitalist death cult, that self-reinforce, one not being greater than the other, that each one requires the other. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I see these pillars persist in the society. Because capitalism no longer functions as an economic system. It's not really based on any economic principle, and the arguments that come out of the capitalists are not actually economic. They seem to me to be exclusively ideological. And so, what is that ideology? Well, starting with the first pillar, the worship of money. That the worship of money, and those who espouse a worship of money, fundamentally believe that it is right and appropriate to exchange everything that has value, that's breathable air, workable land, clean water, food that isn't poisoned, infrastructure that actually works, to exchange all of that for money, for dollars on a screen, for numbers. Literally not even something we print anymore, just something we type into computer systems that we seem to value more so than human life and the ability for us to sustain ourselves as a species. There is no other way to describe what we have done to money than to say that we have erected a false god, that we have created a false god that we now worship in place of the concept or the conception of God, which was previously understood as creation itself, that we have erected something within creation and said that this is the measurement by which all things shall be. And this takes us to the second pillar, which is the worship of the self and the worship of the individual. You can see these ideas espoused by people like Jordan Peterson, like Ben Shapiro, and all the fascists in the discourse. The idea of the hyper-individual is that it is possible for a single individual, for their energy and actions to outweigh the energy of actions of all people who currently exist, who ever did exist, all of the institutions they ever constructed and that currently exist, as well as all of the forces in all of creation. This concept of hyper-individualism flows neatly into the worship of money, so that those who have money are seen as good, and those, therefore, without money are seen as bad. And you can simply reject anything a person who has no money says simply because they have no money, and say the insipid fascist things that Petersonians and Shapiros say. It sounds like a you problem, pull yourself up, get a better job, these sorts of insipid, childish statements. And what's emblematic of the ethos of the hyper-individual, the worship of the self, is that at no point do you need to address the existence of structures, the existence of anything outside of the self, because it's a completely narcissistic belief system that worships money in the first place. And so the only way anyone or anything is seen to have value of any sort is if they have money. And so that is the exclusive pursuit of the hyper-individual. Now, if all of this sounds extremely stupid, well, congratulations. You have stumbled into the third pillar of the capitalist death cult, which is fundamentally the worship of stupidity. That the idea that we should exchange money that we created from nothing for breathable air, workable land, drinkable water, the idea that we should do that is extraordinarily stupid. The Ohio derailment, the fact that that wasn't met with an extreme demand for reform of the system tells you that we are worshiping stupidity. The fact that when the SVB banks collapsed and the federal government immediately, the day of, stepped in to provide bailout money while allowing the Ohio derailment to persist, shows you that we worship stupidity. That the worshippers of stupidity and the worshippers of the capitalist death cult are incapable of finding solutions that are actually reasonable and make sense, because those solutions are going to be counter to the worship of money and the worship of the self. I'll give you a very clear example. Homelessness. Homelessness is an extremely simple problem to solve once you step outside of the ethos of the capitalist death cult, the unholy trinity of the capitalist death cult. Give homeless people homes. Open up a wicket at a Service Canada. Let people walk into the wicket. Give them homes when they say, hello, I'm a Canadian citizen and I do not have a home. Turn to the house hoarders, the worthless parasitical landlords. Take the house away from them and give it to the person without a home. This would solve this problem immediately. Why can't this be done? Because we value the worship of money more than we value human life, decency, and dignity. We consider the people who have no homes to be at individual failure, and our stupidity is so overwhelming that we refuse to even acknowledge that this solution would work immediately, and the only consequence of it would be the dismantling of a housing market that should never have existed in the first place. And as you go through the list of issues that exist in our society, you realize very quickly this is exactly how it is. That if the solution cannot result in an individual getting a maximum amount of money, then the solution cannot be thought of, which makes us a very stupid people. This is the unholy trinity of the capitalist death cult. And it's going to destroy us. Always remember, guys, each and every one of you is a quantum being walking around in quantum energy. These billionaires are trying to spend hundreds of billions of dollars in the hopes you'll never realize it. You'll just stay the good little commodity they need you to be. Rebel. Revolt. Repent. Good luck. We're going to need it.